AITA for refusing to apologize to my sister after ruining her wedding dress. My sister, Emma, and I have always had a complicated relationship. We're close in age, only 2 years apart, but our personalities are very different. I'm more laid back and practical, while she's dramatic and obsessed with perfection. Growing up, we would fight constantly over the smallest things, but somehow we always managed to patch things up. Now that we're adults, I thought the fighting would stop, but it hasn't. Emma got engaged about a year ago to a guy named Mark. They've been together for about 3 years, and honestly, I wasn't thrilled about him at first. Mark seemed controlling and a little too intense, but I tried to be supportive because I wanted Emma to be happy. When the wedding planning started, I tried to help as much as I could, even though Emma was pretty bossy and didn't take any of my suggestions seriously. The dress was the biggest deal for Emma. She spent months looking for the perfect gown, and when she finally found one, she was obsessed with it. She made me promise not to touch it or even get close to it. I agreed, of course, because I respected how important it was to her. Fast forward to 2 weeks before the wedding. Emma's wedding party was having a brunch at her apartment, and I was helping set things up. The dress was hanging in her bedroom closet, covered with a protective garment bag. Everyone was chatting and enjoying themselves, and I went into the bedroom to grab some extra chairs. That's when it happened. I noticed the dress hanging in the closet, but the door to the closet was narrow, and the dress was hanging in a way that blocked the entrance to the closet. I thought it might be safer to move it slightly so no one would accidentally brush against it during the party. I carefully took the dress out of the bag, intending to put it somewhere safe. As I was moving the dress, the hanger slipped out of my hand, and the dress fell to the floor. I panicked, but tried to quickly pick it up and hang it back. Unfortunately, the floor was a bit dusty, and there was a small paint stain right where the dress landed. I didn't think it was a big deal at first, but when I got the dress back on the hanger, I realized there was a noticeable stain on the hem. I immediately went to the kitchen and told my mom what happened. She tried to calm me down and suggested calling a professional cleaner who specializes in wedding dresses. We arranged for the dress to be picked up that same day, and I promised myself I would tell Emma as soon as I could. The next morning, I sat Emma down and confessed what happened. I expected her to be upset but understanding, especially since I was upfront about it. Instead, she exploded. She screamed at me, called me careless and irresponsible, and said I had ruined the most important day of her life. She refused to let me pay for the dress or the cleaning and told me not to speak to her until after the wedding. The day of the wedding arrived, and I stayed home, feeling awful. My parents sent me updates, saying the cleaners had managed to remove the stain, but Emma was still furious. She barely spoke to me at the reception and refused to be in any photos with me. I felt like a complete failure as a sister. After the wedding, Emma blocked me on all social media and hasn't responded to any messages. I've apologized multiple times, but she says it's not enough. I told her I never intended to ruin her dress and that I'm truly sorry, but she says the damage is done and our relationship is broken. My friends are divided on this. Some say I should have just kept my hands off the dress no matter what, and others think Emma is overreacting since the stain was removed and the wedding went on without any issues. So, AITA for accidentally staining my sister's wedding dress and refusing to apologize beyond what I already have? Or is Emma being unreasonable by cutting me out of her life over this mistake? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the content grow and motivates me to create even more great videos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. By the way, I'm curious, when do you usually watch my videos? While working, studying, or just relaxing at home? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your support. AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding because of how she's treating my autistic son? I've been wrestling with this for months now, and honestly, I'm torn up inside about it. I'm not sure if I'm the asshole here or if I'm justified in standing my ground, but I'm hoping to get some perspective. A little background. I'm 35F, married, and I have a 7-year-old son, Noah, who is autistic. He's nonverbal, has sensory processing issues, and thrives best in calm, predictable environments. My sister, Emma, is 33F and is getting married next month. She and I have had a rocky relationship over the years, but I've always tried to keep things civil, especially for family gatherings. However, this wedding situation has become a huge point of contention. When Emma announced her engagement about a year ago, I was genuinely happy for her. I know weddings can be stressful, so I offered early on to help with some planning, hoping to make things easier for her. She was polite, but never really took me up on the offer. I chalked it up to typical bride stress and figured I'd just show up and support her. The problem started when she began discussing the guest list and seating arrangements. Noah has never been to a big event like this before, so I told her up front about his needs. He can get overwhelmed easily by loud noises, crowds, and unpredictable situations. I asked if there might be a quiet room or some accommodations to help him if he got anxious or needed a break. I also asked if it would be possible to seat us near an exit so I could step outside with him if needed. Emma's reaction was cold. She told me that it was a formal event and that she didn't want it disrupted by my son's behavior. She said she didn't want guests feeling uncomfortable and that Noah might make things harder for everyone. I was shocked and hurt. I reminded her that Noah isn't disruptive on purpose and that we were willing to do whatever it took to minimize any issues, but she was adamant. Over the next few months, the tension grew. Emma started sending subtle digs via text, saying things like, "Hope Noah can handle the big day," or "Maybe you should reconsider if bringing him is the best idea." I tried to explain how important it was for Noah to feel included and that excluding him would be devastating for me. She responded with an ultimatum. If I brought Noah, she'd ask me to leave. This was heartbreaking. I reached out to my parents for support, and they agreed that Emma was being unreasonable, but said it was ultimately her wedding, so I had to respect her wishes. I felt cornered. Meanwhile, I was trying to prepare Noah for the event, working with therapists to help him cope with large gatherings. I wanted him to have a chance to be part of a family celebration, even if it was challenging. 2 weeks before the wedding, Emma sent out a group message to the family. In it, she emphasized that the event was for adults and children who can behave appropriately, and that no disruptions will be tolerated. It was clearly aimed at me and Noah. I was furious. I told Emma that I couldn't attend under those conditions. I explained that if Noah was not welcome, neither was I. I offered to meet separately after the wedding to celebrate, but she said no. She accused me of being dramatic and selfish and said I was trying to make the wedding about my son. The wedding day arrived. I stayed home with Noah. My parents and some family members went, and for what I've heard, the day went smoothly, but the family is divided now. Some say Emma was justified in wanting a perfect day. Others feel she was cruel and insensitive. My friends mostly think I was right to stand up for Noah. But I keep wondering if I'm making too big a deal out of this, and if I should have just sucked it up for my sister. So, Reddit, AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding because of how she's treating my autistic son? AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding because of her fiancé's behavior toward my family? My sister, Emily, and I have always had a complicated relationship. Growing up, we were close, but definitely had our moments of rivalry and misunderstanding. As adults, things got better, but there was always a subtle tension under the surface. Emily got engaged about a year ago to a guy named Mark, and that's when everything started to spiral. Mark seemed like a decent guy at first, charming, friendly, and well-liked by our extended family. But as their wedding plans progressed, I started noticing his behavior toward me, and my family was off. At first, it was small things that I shrugged off. Dismissive comments, snide remarks when he thought no one was listening, and a general coldness. But it escalated quickly. The first real incident happened during a family dinner at my parents' house. Emily and Mark were there along with our parents and some cousins. I was sharing a story about a recent promotion at work, and Mark interrupted me sharply, saying something like, "Oh, that's cute. You finally caught up to a decent position." Everyone went quiet, and I felt humiliated. Emily didn't say anything, just changed the subject, and the evening moved on, but the damage was done. After that, I started paying more attention, and it was clear Mark had some disdain for my family. He made little digs about my parents' modest lifestyle and implied that my career success wasn't really impressive. My younger brother, who's a college student, tried to engage Mark in conversation, and Mark barely acknowledged him and later joked to Emily about how pathetic the kid's ambitions were. Emily always brushed it off when I brought these things up with her privately. She said Mark was just awkward and that I was being too sensitive. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but one incident after another made it impossible to ignore. Things came to a head at my birthday party a few months ago, which Emily and Mark attended. It was a small gathering, mostly family and close friends. Mark got drunk and started openly criticizing how I handle my finances and joked about how wasting money on that expensive car was dumb. I confronted him, telling him to back off, but he just laughed it off and said I was too serious. After that night, I told Emily I wasn't sure I wanted Mark in my life. She got angry and accused me of trying to sabotage her relationship. She said I was jealous and needed to grow up. The wedding invitations came shortly after. While I got mine, I debated whether to go. I told Emily I wasn't comfortable with Mark's behavior toward my family and me. She insisted that if I didn't attend, I was being selfish and disrespectful. She said this was her big day and I needed to support her. I explained that supporting her didn't mean I had to tolerate her fiancé's disrespect. I also said that if Mark's behavior didn't change, I would have to reconsider my relationship with Emily too. She said that was unfair and cut off contact for a while. Since then, there have been several attempts at making peace, mostly from Emily, but I'm still hurt and unsure. I don't want to miss my sister's wedding, but I also don't want to subject myself and my family to Mark's insults and condescension. On top of that, I worry that if I go, it might be seen as me endorsing Mark's behavior. Now, with the wedding just a few weeks away, I've told Emily I won't attend unless Mark apologizes and shows real effort to change. She says I'm putting conditions on her happiness and that I'm the problem here. So Reddit, AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding because of her fiancé's ongoing disrespectful behavior toward me and my family? Or should I just suck it up and go for Emily's sake?